and welcome to Rathods Science Academy. Today in this session we are going to see current affairs of 28th January 2025. So let's get started with our discussion. And there are many articles in your newspaper which are relevant from your examination point of view. But already I discussed some of them in our earlier classes. So just I will be giving you the brief idea regarding those topics which we had already done. But I'll give you like what are the dimensions you have to see in a very clear manner. Okay, let's get started. And let us see the first article title, guys. So here this article is saying that Uttarakhand adopts uniform civil code. So actually it is not at all a new topic. So from past 8 to 9 months onwards, we are seeing this topic in news, that is Uttarakhand is going to adopt. And finally it had been adopted with this UCC. So here you have to see about what are the provisions of this UCC of Uttarakhand, and even you have to see about in which matters it will be dealing with, and even you have to see what are the personal laws which are present in our country. Okay, so let me write the keyword first and later on I want to explain everything in detail. So this article is talking about uniform civil code. So from which subject you can see this? So you can see from GS paper 2 under polity and governance. And even because of this implementation of UCC, it will be having huge impact on our society. So we can also connect this with GS paper 1 and 2 under society and social issues point of view also. Okay, so now let me tell you what are the dimensions you have to see. So first you have to focus on what is the meaning of UCC. That is Uniform Civil Code. That means we need to have a law which will be same for different religions regarding civil matters. So what are the civil matters? For example, marriage and also divorce and also like adoption, succession. So in all these things we need to have a single law so that every religion comes under one umbrella. That umbrella is called as UCC. And next you have to see, even in our Constitution of India, there is one article which talks about that. That is Article 44. Okay, it comes under DPSP, that is Directive Principles of State Policy. And if you see one important difference between fundamental rights and DPSP, they are not enforceable. DPSP is not enforceable. Just they will give directions for a state to govern or to make the laws. Okay, that means here this Uniform Civil Code is not a fundamental right. Okay, and you have to see which states in India adopted this. So overall we have two states. One is Goa and second one now is Uttarakhand. But the difference between these two is during British India time only they came up with this. So this Uttarakhand adopted this after we got independence, that is post-independence. Don't fall into this trap. Okay, UPSC can ask you a question, after we got independence, two states adopted this UCC. No, after independence only one state, that is the first state is Uttarakhand. Okay, and if you are from state of Uttarakhand, and if you are appearing for UPSC interview this year, and obviously you will be getting question regarding this UCC. Like they may ask what is this UCC, so why Uttarakhand adopted this, and what are the provisions of UCC of this Uttarakhand. So who are they are exempted. You have to see that also. And next they may ask your question like whether it can be implemented through force across the country. Is this good? It is a good move or bad move. So what is the opinion or what is your stand? So in this way you may get questions regarding UCC if you are from Uttarakhand. So see each and every dimension, guys. Okay, and next you have to see what are the arguments in favor of this, and you have to see arguments which are against, arguments which are favor and as well as arguments which are against. So if you're covering all these dimensions, then your work is done. Okay, now let us see here this article in detail. So finally Uttarakhand Chief Minister, he officially announced that yes, UCC Uniform Civil Code for all residents of the state except, so here you have to focus on this exception from scheduled tribes and as well as natives who have migrated out of state. So here this UCC, it is not applicable for the people who are belonging to the scheduled tribes and as well as who are migrated out of states. So here there may be also one question like, who are scheduled tribes? So what is the definition of the scheduled tribes? Yeah. No, no eligible. Any state can adopt this. Yeah, that's what I'll say. Okay, so here you have to see which are the scheduled tribes of Uttarakhand to which this is exempted. Okay, and finally, here Chief Minister of Uttarakhand says Uttarakhand has become the first Indian state to implement UCC, that too after independence. That means during this post-independence time. So if you see some details, it says that UCC bill passed by state assembly and they are banning certain practices like halala, nikah halala and idat and talaq. So these are the customs which are related to Islam or Muslims regarding marriage and divorce. And also it ensures women who are eligible now for getting equal rights. Equal rights in matters related to even getting or acquiring property and as well as inheritance. Okay, and UCC now mandates online registration of marriages and even divorce. And one more important point you have to remember is for even live-in relationships also they need a registration under a portal under this UCC. And even people they will be having access to the records, register complaints and also upload uh, their will on the same portal itself. So here we came up with with a portal. So in that portal here the people now can access the records and even people they can uh, post their complaints or register their complaints and even they can upload their will. So everything will done on a single portal. And what is a Uniform Civil Code or UCC? So it is nothing but a single set of laws which are governing personal matters or civil matters. What are those civil matters? As I said, marriage, divorce, adoption, inheritance of property and succession. So all will be covered under this single umbrella now. And the concept of UCC is mentioned in one of our article in our constitution that comes under DPSP, that is article 44 of Indian constitution. Okay, so now if you see what are the personal laws which are present in India already. So we have some personal laws which will be guiding these things like marriage, divorce, which is separate from different communities. Like it is separate for Hindus, it is separate for Muslims, it is separate for Christians, like that. For example, regarding Hindus, Sikhs, Jains and Buddhists, we have one act called as Hindu Succession Act of 1956. And for Muslims personal law. And even for Christians, Parsis and Jews, we have Indian Succession Act of 1925. And for intercaste marriages, interreligious marriages, we have an act called as Special Marriage Act. So overall, in our country, as you all know that India is a very diverse in religions. We have the people living together who are belonging to the different religions like Hindus, Buddhists, Parsis, Christians, etc. So there are some certain laws which are guiding their own civil laws. Okay, for example, you have to remember all these things: Hindu Succession Act, Muslim Personal Law, Indian Succession Act, and Special Marriage Act. Okay, so these are the 4 personal laws in India. So if once we are implementing this UCC, we will be removing all those things and we will be having only one law that is called as UCC. So now we have to see about some important arguments regarding why we have to favor this UCC. So what are the arguments which are supporting this UCC? First one is we have Article 44. So in our constitution itself, there is one article which is talking about why we need to have this. So we have to follow that. And next one is we are following a principle called as secularism. So under this concept of secularism, all religions are equal before the law, right? So why, if you are saying that we are following secularism, but we are having different laws which are governing this civil matters of different religions differently, how can we say that we are promoting secularism? No. So for that, to promote secularism in India, we need a single law which should not influence by any religious belief. Okay, so that we can uphold our principle of secularism. And next one is for promotion of national unity. So here you know that in our country always the communal issues will come into picture. So communal issues, they are related to this kind of civil matters only. So if you are having a single law which is guiding that, we can also improve national unity. And next one is for gender justice. So because of different laws in different religions, obviously it will be showing patriarchal society. So that is nothing but male dominant society and male dominant rules. For example, you can take this issue of triple talaq. So if a husband says talaq talaq for 3 times, it will be divorce. So what is the sense in that? So here, if you want to ensure gender justice and if you want to ensure women rights, obviously we need this UCC. Okay, and even we can go for codifying of personal laws through this UCC. So these were the some arguments which says that yes, we need UCC. But again, one more question. So why not? We are having many advantages so that each and every state in our country, they have to go for implementing of UCC. But since we got independence from 1947, so today we are in this era of 2025. That means after independence, only one state gone through this adoption of UCC. But why? Because of some challenges we are having in our society. So what are those challenges? The first one here is, yes, okay, let me write here. So as I said, DPSP is not enforceable. But if you see versus FR is enforceable. So in fundamental rights, we have a right called as right to religious freedom. That means we are giving freedom to the different religions like Hindus, like Christians, Parsis, like that. So this is overriding this one. So because of this right to religious freedom, okay, we are not implementing this, because if you are implementing UCC throughout the country, then what happened? It will be violating this religious freedom. But this religious freedom is enforceable. If your fundamental right is getting violated, you can directly go to Supreme Court. You have writs, right? That is the one important reason why it is threatening our diversity. Okay. And next one here is there is lack of consensus among communities. For example, if you take state of Telangana or state of AP, there are different wide range of religious people who are living together. If we want to implement that UCC in one go, we have to go and talk with each and every religious community. Like Hindus, we have to talk with Islam or Muslims or Christians, Jains, Parsis, etc. Is it happens? No. So it is also a great challenge. And even if some community are accepting and if some communities are not accepting, that will leads to finally unrest in society. That will leads to communal violence. So whenever the communal violence is happening, it will be having threat to the social fabric of our society as a whole. And next one here is there are also some concerns about federal structure. So what is the meaning of federalism? Federalism is nothing but there is a proper division of powers between center and state. So India is not completely unitary. Okay, I will tell about that concept also. Okay, so if you see the different types of governments, we have two types. First one is unitary and second one is federal. So what is unitary? Unitary is nothing but whenever central government is dominant. Okay, whenever center is dominant over states, that is called as unitary. And federal is nothing but there is equal sharing of powers between center and state. So whenever there is sharing of powers between center and state, it is called as federal. And whenever center is dominating over state, that is called as unitary. So if you see Indian form of government, it is not entirely unitary or it is not entirely federal. So we have a structure called as quasi-federal. That means we are having a federal structure with unitary bias. Okay. So if you are implementing this UCC, it will be affecting our federal structure. That means the division of powers between center and state will be getting affected. So these are some important challenges which are present to implement UCC in our country. So because of this, all states till now they didn't adopted this UCC. So after independence, only Uttarakhand is the first state to adopt this UCC fully. Clear? So this is about this first topic. And now let us see the next topic. If you see the title, it says simultaneous polls plan directly linked to future of India's youth, says Prime Minister. So whenever any of our government dignitaries like President, Prime Minister, Chief Ministers, or like Defense Ministers, okay, External Affairs Minister, Finance Minister, if they are giving any statements, that will be very important. On that statements also you can get a mains based question, guys. So you have to be very much careful with the statements given by our Prime Minister. And you have to see about even Man Ki Baat. So every month here our Prime Minister will be addressing citizens of India through this Man Ki Baat. So at that time he will be telling about challenges and what programs they are doing. So how they are contributing for development of country. So try to follow that Man Ki Baat on All India Radio. Okay, now let us see this article in detail. The key word here is simultaneous poll. Poll is nothing but election. Okay, it is talking about simultaneous. It is talking about simultaneous elections. So where you will be studying about the simultaneous elections? In GS paper 2, polity. So in polity, one important book you will be referring is Lakshmikant. So in Lakshmikant, after this topics of constitutional bodies and non-constitutional bodies, you have this topic of elections, electoral reforms, political parties, representation of People's Act of 1950 and 1951. That topic is very important. That entire all these chapters are very important for your mains point of view. Okay, so if you see about this polity, so this simultaneous elections is part of your chapter called as elections. So here what you have to see, so here I will be telling you the dimensions that you have to see from prelims and as well as mains point of view. You have to understand what is the meaning of simultaneous elections, and you have to see history of the simultaneous elections in our country, whether we conducted this or not. And you have to see what are the arguments in favor, that means positives, and you have to see even negatives. Okay, so what is a simultaneous election? It is nothing but we have center. Okay, we have center and we have different states. So in center also we have government, in state also we have government. In center what we have? We have, what is this? So we have parliament at the center, and the state we have state legislature. Okay, we have parliament at the center and we have state legislative assembly at the state level. So here even in this center and states we have two houses. So in parliament we have two houses called as Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. In state legislature we have state legislative assembly and as well as state legislative council. Okay, that's what I have to say. One more concept here. So here at center level we have both Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha for sure. So this is called as bicameralism. Bicameralism is a concept which says that we have two houses. Bi means two. Two houses. What are there? Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha at the central level. But at the state level, so states have the choice now. If they want to go for bicameralism, they can. If they want to go for mono, yes, they can. So in bicameralism, we have two houses. Assembly will be there, legislative assembly, and next one is state legislative council will be there. Mono means we have only state legislative assembly. So here in all the states of our country, some states you are opting for bicameralism, some states you are opting for monocameralism. Okay, that is only single house. So you have to see which states of our country having this bicameralism. So please try to make a list. And on this bicameral states in India, already UPSC asked question. So how UPSC will be asking question? So consider the following states. In which of the following states they have two houses or bicameralism? And they'll give you 1, 2, only 3, 4, like that. They will give 4 to 5 states, and you have to identify which states are having this two houses. Okay, so here what is the simultaneous elections? The simultaneous election says that we have to go for conducting of elections for Lok Sabha and as well as the state legislative assembly together. Okay, we have to go for conducting of elections for Lok Sabha and state legislative assembly together, and along with local bodies. So what are these local bodies? We have panchayats at rural areas and we have municipalities at urban areas. At urban level we have municipalities, and at the local, that is villages level or rural areas level, we have panchayats. So we have to go for elections for all these three bodies like Lok Sabha, State Legislative Assembly, and as well as this panchayats and municipalities together. So this is the concept of simultaneous elections. So actually they added this local bodies recently, but normally in this simultaneous elections we can say that at state level and central level we have to go for elections at the same time. Okay, so here if you see the history, did we had this simultaneous election? Of course yes. So whenever we got this independence in this 1947, and from that point of time, so when we started this first elections in India till fourth elections, that is till 1967, we had simultaneous elections. That means both Lok Sabha and Assembly, they had elections at the same time. But after this 1967, there were lots of instabilities in different states. They went for dissolution of government. At that time, that led to the variation in Lok Sabha and as well as legislative election assemblies, legislative assembly elections they had been done. So there is a disruption because of instability in the states. And now again we are talking that we have to go for simultaneous elections. So this is the concept is about. And you have to see what are the arguments which are favoring the simultaneous elections and what are the arguments which are against the simultaneous elections. If you do this, then your work from prelims and mains will be done. And even if you are getting, that's what negative is nothing but challenges. And one more thing here is you have to see other alternative names for this simultaneous election. Simultaneous elections is also called as one nation, one election. So even if you are giving this year interview guys, you will get for sure question regarding one nation, one elections. What is your opinion on that? Is it good or bad? So here they may ask like if you are from Uttarakhand or Uttar Pradesh or AP like that. So in your state when the simultaneous elections had been done. So you have to see that thing also. Okay, because of my experience, I am telling all these things. Okay, now let us see why it is a news. So actually our Prime Minister, he said that yes, youth, they have to participate in the debates regarding simultaneous elections, whether we can go with that simultaneous elections or not. Because today's children are tomorrow's citizens, right? Today's citizens are going to be the members of parliament tomorrow or like legislative assembly tomorrow, right? So today's youth, they may participate in the politics tomorrow. So because of this, our Prime Minister, he urged that each and every person who is citizen of India, they should know about the simultaneous election. And especially youth, they have to participate in the debates so that their future will be getting impacted. That is the thing which mainly said. And if you see some facts regarding the simultaneous elections, they are nothing but we are going for elections for house of people, that is nothing but Lok Sabha, and assembly, that is legislative assemblies, and as well as local bodies, that is panchayats and municipalities together. And here it effectively means that voter casts the vote. So whenever we are doing the simultaneous elections, if a person like me, if I'm going for voting in my polling booth, I will be submitting my details there and I will be entering into the polling booth. And I will be going for pressing of buttons in the EVM. I will be pressing buttons for this Lok Sabha and as well as Legislative Assembly simultaneous. I will be pressing the two buttons. That is called as simultaneous elections. That means in a single day, I will be going to the polling booth at a single time and I will be casting my vote for the both together. So that most of my time will be getting saved, right? For example, if in this month I have Lok Sabha elections, for example, after 6 months, if there is any state legislative assembly in my state, I have to go to that place of my native village, and I have to go there and I have to wait for some time and I have to wait in the line in that polling booth for 1 hour or 2 hours and I have to cast my vote. So it will be like I have to go there 2 times. So it will be wasting my time. So if, for example, if that elections is there on the same day, only I will be going to the polling booth on that day, and within this time I will be casting my vote and I will be coming back. So I will be doing vote for both legislative assembly and as well as Lok Sabha, right? So that is the thing which mainly said. And currently all these elections are held independently of one another, and finally we will be electing them at the different times. So that is happening in our country like that. So here, because of that, they propose this concept of one nation, one election, so that even voter turnout will be increased. For example, if I have to visit my village twice, I may visit for only one time. I may not, I will be skipping another time voting. So that what happened, voter turnout will be decreased. So actually one important problem in our country is voter turnout. It will be like 60 to 70 only. It is not crossing 80 or 85 or 90. So that is one important problem. Everyone is not participating in this voting. So because of this, it is having impact on the democracy of the country. So because of this, if you're going for this one nation, one election, even we can increase voter turnout. Okay, now let us see why we need this simultaneous elections. The first one here is we can reduce the cost. So if you want to go for conducting of election twice, for example, for Lok Sabha ones and Legislative Assembly ones, obviously it will be increasing the cost or increasing the burden of the people. Because if you have a traveling, if you have this experience of traveling on your cars on the roads, at that time during elections they will be checking if you're taking any money, or if you're doing some illegal things like mm, what liquor like that. So here it will be causing some disturbance for the people also, every time checking whenever you are traveling on the road, especially if you are using cars. And next one here is, even if you want to go for conducting of elections for 2 times, it will be also burden on the government exchequer will be also getting affected. And even political parties, they have to campaign again and again, they have to go for conducting of meetings, and they have to go for campaigning of door to door campaigning, and they have to go for advertising in this TVs. And especially there is a new trend which is going on. They are like making what songs, they are creating songs on their achievements, and they are selecting a singer who is very much famous, and after that they will be using this kind of autos or like jeeps with this with well decorated with the party symbols and party persons, and they are just going through the houses like that. So in this way it will also causes lots of noise pollution as well, noise pollution, air pollution, etc. So for all these things, if you want to control that, we can go for this one nation one election. And even model code of conduct. So during this model code of conduct, it will be like 45 to 60 days. At that time, government which is in power should not announce any schemes, and even the government in power should not come up with any approval of projects. So if you have watched this movie Game Changer, you can get lots of ideas regarding so how this model code of conduct will be, how the elections will be done, and what are the rules and regulations should be followed by a political party during that moral code of conduct. Everything is clearly depicted in that. So try to watch that movie if you have not. Okay. And next one here is, whenever we are having frequent elections, obviously it will be having impact on the efficiency of government will be not working that much efficiently, and even social cohesion will be like undermined. Okay. And even it will be having uncertainty of our economy, we will be not attracting more investments at that time, and even the activities, domestic activities will be decreased, so that overall economic growth and outcomes will be decreased during that time. And even it will be having impact on the voters as well. Okay, so these are the things which says that yes, we need UCC, sorry, we need this one nation one election for sure. And next one is, what are the concerns? So here, if you see the political parties, we have different types of political parties. Okay, so if you see the classification of political parties, PP, we have national political parties. So I think you have heard about this Indian National Congress, that is Congress Party, and we have BJP Party, and we have BSP Party, okay, and we have Aam Aadmi Party. They are national parties. And apart from that, we are having state political parties, and apart from that, we have regional, rural political parties, regional political parties. Okay, so like that, here if you're going for simultaneous elections, and if you're keeping symbols in this EVM, so national political parties will come, and later on state political parties will become, regional political parties will come, so that the people, they will directly go and they will press only the buttons which are present in the first, so that your state political parties and regional political parties will be get affected. So this is the one important thing or the concern regarding implementation of this one nation one election. And even election serves as a feedback mechanism for governments. So whenever you are conducting elections only once in 5 years, that could disturb the timely feedback. And this one here is, sometimes if you're going for the simultaneous elections, if there is no stability in the government which formed in the state, that will go and that will dissolve if no confidence motion had been passed. At that time again we can't come up with the simultaneous election. So this is also one important problem. And even one more very important problem here is, if you want to go for getting of this one nation one elections, we have to go for making of changes in our constitution. That is called as Constitutional Amendments Act. And if you want to pass this Constitutional Amendment Act, which majority we need? We need special majority. That is 2/3 of people who are present and voting. So this will be a very great challenge of implementing this one nation, one election. So these are the things that you have to remember. That's it. And now let us see the next article. It is about custodial death. Himachal IGP adults get lifetime. So actually, a special CBI court in Chandigarh sentenced Himachal Pradesh Inspector General of Police, that is IGP, and seven other policemen to life imprisonment in 2017 custodial death case. So here you have to focus on this problem called as custodial death. So if you have seen the movie, Jaibi movie. So in that Jaibi movie, which clearly shows about how the torture is used by the police to get truth from a person leads to death of that person in that jail or custody. That is called as custodial death. And there are a number of movies which clearly shows about this custodial death. And even if you have seen that web series called as Dutha, so in that Dutha also, in this third episode or fourth episode, which will be showing about this custodial death of a person or death of a lorry driver in the custody. So here you have to understand about this custodial death. So custodial death is nothing but whenever a person who is under custody. So in this custody, we have three types of custody. First one is in police custody. That means, normally in the movies they will be depicting that one police person will come and he will be arresting that so and so accused, and he will be doing third degree torture. So in this third degree torture, they may die. And second one here is in judicial custody. That means in this judicial premises because of overcrowding. And have you seen that movie? Like, what is that movie? There will be a movie of Venkatesh Hero, and he will be filing a case against God. Yeah. So in that movie, you can see like to file the number of cases against the God, against the calamities. So lots of the people, they are coming and they will be like crowding before the court. So whenever they are not providing proper sanitation, proper crowding mechanism, that will be also leads to the death during stampede in this court regions. That is called as custodial death. It is second type of death, that is called as judicial custodial death. And next one here is even this armed and paramilitary forces also, they will be doing extreme torture if they find any terrorist of other countries. So whenever the death happens in the custody of this armed and paramilitary forces, that also comes under custodial death. And even have you heard about this thing, encounter is also comes under this custodial death. Okay, so you have to see like why these custodial deaths are happening in our country. Okay, so custodial death which happens because of extreme torture, extreme pressure on the people. So here we have to see exactly what are the reasons of this. And you have to see one more thing. So which rights of the people will be getting affected? For example, we have fundamental rights like right to life and personal liberty, which comes under Article 21. It will be getting affected. And even custody, even as if there is any woman who had been arrested, means even sexual assault will happen on her. So because of that, that will be affecting right to privacy, right to bodily comfort. That also comes under this Article 21. So all these things you have to see which are the fundamental rights or the human rights which will be getting affected because of this custodial death. And even you have to see, for example, I want to share this experience with you. So if you are giving your service preferences as IPS number 1 rather than IAS, so there are many students who are like passionate about this IPS. If you are keeping in your service preference 1 for IPS, you will be getting for sure question regarding what is your opinion on encounter and what is your opinion on custodial death. And there you may get a question like what are the measures can be taken by government of India to control this custodial death. Okay, so one measure that we can say practically is, yes, we have CBI court now gave punishment for the people who involved in this custodial death in 2017. So the death which happened in 2017, but the judgment which came in 2025, even though it is around 7 days delay, finally they got punishment. Okay, like that you have to see how can we decrease this custodial death. For example, we can increase monitoring, and we can go for proper investigation of cases, and we can say that transparency is very important, accountability is important. And next we can go for using of AI in jails so that we can control this. Okay, like that we can use punishments and promotions so that we can ensure the good attitude of police people. So like that you can make your own points regarding how can we control this custodial death in our country. Okay, clear? And now let us see the next article. Central team in Pune as man dies of suspected Guillain-Barre syndrome. So actually there is increased case of this Guillain-Barre syndrome in especially which state? In state of Maharashtra. In Pune there is increasing of cases. So actually what happened, suddenly one guy died on road because of this Guillain-Barre syndrome. So because of this there are 2 to 3 articles in our newspaper regarding this syndrome. So whenever you are getting any disease or any syndrome, any disorder which is causing loss of life to the people in our country, obviously it is one important problem that we need to deal with, right? So if you are getting that kind of problems in the newspaper, obviously you are supposed to know about what is that. And if you're from Maharashtra, you have to see in detail regarding that issue because it will be from your interview point of view. So whenever you're preparing for UPSC, you try to start from preparing from interview because interview is the most toughest compared to that of prelims or mains. So like literally 5 people will be there in the board and they will be stabbing on you by asking question by question, question by question. And it will goes on for 25 to 45 minutes based on the board you are getting. So you have to be very patient to answer, and even you should be very alert like which question they are asking, and even you have to be very much perfect about the current affairs which is going on national and international level, and especially regarding your state level. State level awareness is also very important. Okay, so try to evolve that kind of personality from now onwards. Okay, so you should not think that okay, I have a lot of time to write prelims and after that means, and after clearing means I will be developing that. It won't happen, guys. So whenever you want to become an office and whenever you want to get into the office or you want to become an officer, so from that day itself you have to try to behave yourself as an officer. That attitude will very much helpful to clear this examination, guys. So try to develop them. Okay, now let us see this article. So here this is talking about Guillain-Barre syndrome. So in medical terminology, we'll be using shortcuts. As I'm from medical terminology, GBS, Guillain-Barre syndrome. So this is important from your ES&T from GS paper 3. So you have to see about what is a syndrome is about. So there is a difference between disease and syndrome. Disease is nothing but a single thing, but syndrome is group of diseases comes under the syndrome. So it is a group of diseases. It's called as GBS. Okay, so now what is this and what are the causes of this disease? And nowadays from this COVID-19 emergence into our world, so they are asking about even presence of vaccine. Vaccine is present or not? And what are the treatment options? Okay, so from this area, you can get a prelims based question. So now let us see all those facts. So if you see here this Guillain-Barre syndrome, it is a neurological disorder. That means it is causing impact on your nervous system. So I think you might have studied in your school days about nervous system. So can you say different types of nervous system? We have PNS and we have CNS. That is peripheral nervous system. We have central nervous system. Central nervous system is nothing but your brain. Your brain comes under part of central nervous system. What comes under your peripheral nervous system? Spinal cord. And next one is nerves. Nerves and spinal cord comes under your peripheral nervous system. So brain which is present inside your skull. So your head part is your brain. And where is spinal cord present? So if it is your brain and there is a continuation of your brain and it is protected in vertebra. Vertebra is nothing but your backbone. So under this backbone, inside of your backbone, you will be having this thing that is called as your spinal cord. And from here, the nerves comes. So the spinal cord part and the nerves, they are part of your peripheral nervous system. And central nervous system is nothing but whatever there is in your head, that is brain. Brain comes under your central nervous system. A brain అక్కడ ఎవరికి ఉండదు, అక్కడ ఉండదు మోకాలు. Okay, so here this disease is about your PNS, that is peripheral nervous system. It is not about your CNS. Okay, that means it is affecting your this part, spinal cord and nerves part will be get affected in this Guillain-Barre syndrome. Okay, now let us see some more important facts. So actually, peripheral nervous system is affected. Peripheral nervous system includes your spinal cord and as well as nerves. So this part of nervous system is outside the brain. Okay, and actually this part of the brain will be controlling your muscle movements, your pain signals, and the temperature of your body and touch sensation, etc. So actually what happens in this syndrome is inflammation of your nerves. So it commonly happens from the age of 30 to 50 years. Okay, exact cause of this disease is unclear, but many doctors they'll believe that. So it is caused because of some bacterial infection or like vaccination or any surgery, etc. Okay, so how this disease will starts? So this disease will starts with unknown fever. You will be getting very high temperature, and whenever you are getting fever, obviously your body will be getting very weak and even muscle pain will be there, and even sometimes you can't even get up from the bed, you will be that much lethargy. So what happens in this year is within some hours time or days or weeks, certain muscles they will can't work even. So within certain hours, some parts of your muscles they will not be under your control, so there will be some kind of muscle paralysis which happens. Finally, it will also cause death, because what are the muscles which are related regarding the breathing will be stopped. So whenever the muscles they are not cooperating for the breathing, taking of your air, exhaling and inhaling, obviously you will be not getting proper oxygen. If oxygen is not there, obviously that will cause death of a person. That is happening in this Guillain-Barre syndrome. Okay. And now let us see the next article. Title says CISF trashes man's claim of watch theft at Delhi airport. So the keyword here is CISF, Central Industrial Security Force. So actually, if you study your internal security, you will be studying about this paramilitary forces. So in the Central Armed Forces, we have different forces. For example, we have BSF, that is Border Security Force. We have Assam Rifles. Okay, we have other things like Indo-Tibetan Border Forces. So in that one is CISF. So recently the CISF is in news. Why? Because now Parliament. So recently some incident which happened in the Parliament that led to security breach in Parliament. So two people they entered into this Parliament debates and meetings. They used some bombs like that. So because of this now Parliament security is also taken care of the CISF. Normally these CIF will protect airports in our country. So just go to Google and search about what is a CISF and what is the mandate of that CISF. So in earlier classes I discussed this topic many times. Okay, now let us see the next article. Very important topic. Expert panel clears plan to rebuild washed away Teesta Dam in Sikkim. So this article is talking about Teesta Dam. And have you heard about this Teesta River? Yeah, Teesta River is a disputed river between which and which countries? India and Bangladesh. Okay, so here you have to see about Teesta Dam. The keyword here is Teesta Dam. So you can study this topic from GS paper 1 under geography, and you can study under GS paper 3 under environment and ecology, and even GS paper 3 under disaster management, and even GS paper 2 under international relations. So we can study this single topic from all these dimensions. So as you all know that in geography, especially in your Indian geography part, you will be studying about rivers, right? Rivers chapter. In this rivers, we have two types of rivers. First one is Himalayan river system and next one is Peninsular river system. So where this Himalayan river system will be there? In this Himalaya region. For example, we have Indus, we have Ganga and we have Brahmaputra like this. So in Himalayan river system, we will be studying about three rivers. River Ganga, river Indus, river Brahmaputra. Okay, you have to say about this Teesta river system which comes under either Ganga river system or Brahmaputra river system. And in peninsular, again we have two types, east flowing rivers, west flowing rivers. So east flowing rivers are nothing but in peninsular part they will be flowing towards east and they will be joining this Bay of Bengal. So west flowing rivers are nothing but they will be flowing towards west and they will join Arabian Sea. Okay, so from rivers point of view, we will be studying about what is this Teesta river, where it had been originated, and in which states it is flowing, and you have to see which dams are constructed on this. So all these things are from your geography point of view. And from environment and ecology point of view, always we will be concerned with this topic of CC, that is climate change. So because of climate change, there is increasing of extreme weather events. So one such an event that happened in the recent past is landslides. So because of landslide in this Sikkim, that led to washed away. That led to washed away of this Teesta Dam. So because of this, now the present article is saying that, so due to this landslide earlier, so there is washed away of this Teesta Dam happened. So we are going for rebuilding of that. Okay. And from disaster management, you have to cover this topic of landslide. So what is a landslide? Landslide is nothing but suddenly the land will come and will be falling down. Okay, so here you have to see what are the causes of this landslide and what are the measures can be taken from disaster management. And from international relations point of view, you have to see about India-Bangladesh relations regarding river Teesta. What is the issue between India and Bangladesh? So all these are the important dimensions that you have to see. And now let us see that if you see the Teesta Dam, here this is this river Teesta and this is the dam which had been washed away. You can see this image, very beautiful image, and it is a run-off river project. That means they are not storing the water at all. They are not constructing any dam. But whenever the river flowing, because of this movement, that is kinetic energy, they will be trapping this kinetic energy and they will convert into electricity. So they are not storing water at all. It is a run-off river project. Okay, now let us see some important facts. So actually this Teesta Dam, which is hydropower project, we are generating hydroelectricity here on this Teesta river, and it is around 510 megawatts of hydropower we will be generating from this, and it is a run-off river project. That means we are not constructing any dam. Okay, just whatever the river which is flowing, on that flowing of river, we will be trapping kinetic energy of the flow of river and we will be converting it into energy or electricity. And next one is it had been developed in a single phase and this project had been commenced in year 1999 onwards. Okay, and if you see some facts regarding this river Teesta, it is a trans-Himalayan river and it is flowing through the states of West Bengal and as well as Sikkim and Rangpur in Bangladesh. So because of this, it is issue between India and Bangladesh, and it is a tributary of Brahmaputra river, and it is also forming a boundary between Sikkim and West Bengal. So these are some important facts that you have to know about this river Teesta. And next in text and context, there is one article again regarding this Guillain-Barre syndrome. So actually in this article they said that there is no vaccine. So it is autoimmune neurological disorder. That means a person's immune system will be getting affected by his own thing. And next one here is there is no cure for this Guillain-Barre syndrome, and even till today there is no vaccination also. So because of this, I took this article again. So these are the some important topics that appeared in our today's Hindu newspaper. So by this I'm concluding. Thank you so much guys for watching. And please do like this class and share this class to your friends. And don't forget to subscribe to Rathods IAS Academy.